time, three soldiers were marching home from war. Their names were Captain Andy, Private Charlie, and Private Max. They were tired and hungry, and they were looking for a village to find some food.
Soldiers are we, as hungry as can be, back from the war, in countries oh so far. Food we do wish, some chicken, meat, or fish, a tray filled up high, with food to reach the sky. And after we've been fed, we like a nice soft bed. We'll sleep and rest our feet, and dream of more to eat.
Boys and girls, remember your voices are off unless you're singing. Miss Laura from a nearby village was picking flowers. She heard soldiers. Ready?
I heard them, I heard them, I heard just what they said. They're heading towards the village to ask for food and bed. I'll run now, I'll run now, I'll run to tell my friends to hide their fruits and vegetables and all their nice fat heads.
Her village did not have enough food for hungry soldiers. The soldiers were tired. They laid down to rest, but you stay standing. Suddenly, they heard a big growl. And they were very frightened. They thought it was a wild animal, but it was only Captain Andy's hungry stomach. Hungry song. Ready?
My tummy roars out like a lion. Roar! My tummy roars out like a bear. Roar! My tummy bleeds out like a mountain goat. It means we need food in there. Yes, it means we need food in there. Grumble-dee-roar and a growl, growl. Grumble-dee-roar and a bleat. Grumble-dee-roar and a growl, growl. I really need good food to eat. Yes, I really need good food to eat. My tummy turns out like a chicken. My tummy turns out like a cow. Moo! My tummy turns out like a monster. Yes, it really needs food in there now.
Sing grumbly.
Grumble-dee-roar and the growl, growl. Grumble-dee-roar and the bleat. Grumble-dee-roar and the growl, growl. I really need good food to eat. Yes, I really need good food to eat.
So, the soldiers, I'll wait till you're done talking. The soldiers decided to march to the village and ask for food.
Soldiers are we, as hungry as can be, back from the war, in countries oh so far. Food we do wish, some chicken, meat, or fish, a tray filled up high, with food to reach the sky. And after we've been fed, we like a nice soft bed. We'll sleep and rest our feet, and dream of more to eat.
There should not be any talking back row. In the village, Captain Andy pointed to a house. Max and Charlie went to the front door to ask for food. Max, this is Charlie.
I'm Max, this is
Thank you. Ready?
I'm Max, this is Charlie.
and no food to spare.
We're sorry you two know nothing we can do. There's nothing we're feeling so blue. Our parents know nothing we can do. We're sorry you Charlie and Max starting too.
Again, Max and Charlie reported the bad news to Captain Andy, and he sent them to another house. Why don't you try?
Why don't you try that house over there?
And they asked for food, and the villagers again shook their heads no. So they went to another house.
Why don't you try that house over there?
And once again, those villagers shook their heads no. And they said,
Why don't you try that house over there?
and once again, the villagers shook their head, we don't have any food for you. And they said,
Why don't you try that house over there?
well, Max and Charlie asked Captain Andy what to do next. Captain Andy thought, and suddenly he had an idea. Ready? Listen. Ready?
What we can do.
Let's try that again. Ready?
Listen and tell you what we can do.
So he whispered the idea to Max and Charlie. The soldiers found a big kettle in the town square, and they filled it with water and built a fire under it. In the kettle, they put 3 round stones, and the villagers watched the soldiers. They were curious and asked the soldiers what they were making. And the soldiers said, stone soup. They watched the soldiers stir the soup.
Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones. Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones.
So they wondered how soup could be made of stones, and they asked if they could help. Max and Charlie and Captain Andy told them that some vegetables and meat would help the soup taste better. The villagers ran home and came back with food. One person put carrots in the kettle and stirred the soup.
Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones.
Girls sing.
Cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones.
Another person put in some cabbage and stirred the soup.
Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones.
Isis,
Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones.
stir the soup correctly. That's not how we stir soup. Let's try that again.
Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones. Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones.
The villagers brought many more things to add to the soup. Onions and meat, barley and spices. And every time,
Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones. Stir and cook and stir and cook and stir and cook the stones.
the soup smelled delicious. The village people decided to make the soup part of the big feast. I will wait until you are ready. They set a big table and had a wonderful dinner for the soldiers. The soldiers were happy they had such a delicious meal. Their stomachs were full and they went to sleep. And the villagers were happy that they had learned how to make stone soup. The village band played and everyone danced. And for our finale, we will sing the overture one more time. Here we go.